Welcome into Steelers Talk, Yenzers. I am your host, Jack Sperry. The 2023 NFL Draft is officially over, which means it's officially undrafted free agency season, and the Steelers have picked up 7 players in undrafted free agency here in the NFL. I'm going to be breaking down those names here in just a second, but first, make sure you subscribe to the channel for free Steelers content here on YouTube every single day. We're just over 100 subscribers away from reaching that great milestone there, quarter way to 100,000 subscribers, 25K. So if you want Steelers content here on YouTube every single day throughout the offseason, a big video coming up here is that the NFL is going to release their schedule, I think on May 11th. So we're going to have a nice video there breaking down the Steelers schedule for 2023. So if Steelers content is your thing, you want it every single day for free here on YouTube, click that subscribe button for me right now. Now let's get into a little bit of not an undrafted signing here, but an actual NFL free agency signing that the Steelers had yesterday. They signed slot cornerback, Chandon Sullivan, formerly with the Minnesota Vikings, and you're adding him to the Steelers roster here, along with Arthur Maulet, the other slot cornerback. Now it's going to be really interesting to see what Mike Tomlin has in store for Chandon. He's played a lot of football in this league. He's played with the Green Bay Packers and the Minnesota Vikings. He was their starting slot corner last year in Minnesota, but if you know anything about the Vikings defense from last year, it wasn't very good. So Chandon Sullivan might not be a true starting piece. I think he's an experienced player that brings some of that versatility there and, some of that experience. Last year, 60 tackles and 7 pass breakups, but overall not too great in terms of his overall grade when it comes to Pro Football Focus. I think when you look at the Steelers cornerback depth chart next year, I think when they're in their nickel sets, I think Patrick Peterson is going to be playing more of a nickel star role. So, when they're in their base formation, Patrick Peterson, Joey Porter Jr. will be the 2 outside cornerbacks. But then when they're in their nickel and dime packages, I think it will be Patrick Peterson kind of as that overhang player. At least that's the way it sounds like, given the way that Peterson and Tomlin have been talking about his role throughout the offseason. So I don't think Sullivan is going to be necessarily a starter, but I do think he will hit the field at some points, especially as a dime backer. I think he will hit the field for the Steelers at least at some point. I do think that he brings some experience. He's played in this league before. He's not the best player in the world, but he's a good pickup here, especially this late in NFL free agency. Now, without further ado, let's get into the players, the non-drafted players, the players that didn't get drafted here that the Steelers have picked up in undrafted free agency. They picked up a quarterback out of Minnesota, Tanner Morgan, Trevor Downing, a center out of Iowa State, David Perales, a very productive edge rusher out of Fresno State, B.T. Potter, a kicker out of Clemson, James, I hope I'm saying this right here, Nyamwaya, defensive line out of Merrimack University. I definitely butchered that. But Jordan Byrd, running back out of San Diego State, and Monte Pottebaum from Iowa. He's gonna be a fullback. He's got a great mullet on his head. That is my favorite undrafted free agency pickup by far. But let's just break down some of these guys here. First off, Tanner Morgan, quarterback out of the University of Minnesota. So he's somebody that's played in a lot of games. 33 starts throughout his career. 6 foot, 204 pounds, and he doesn't have the arm strength. This is why he didn't get drafted. He is very, very below average arm strength, and in the NFL, those windows close very, very quickly, so he's probably not going to be even a backup candidate here for the Steelers. You're just bringing him in as depth. Maybe he can surprise you in camp. He does play with some good anticipation. That's something that on his film that stands out, is that he can really throw the ball before wide receivers get out of their break. That's something you look for in pro prospects, but at the NFL level, you really want guys to have a little bit more arm strength than Tanner Morgan has, because it's just not a very strong arm, at least in my opinion. He's got some great leadership qualities that, he's going to be a good locker room guy, but the poor arm strength, I really don't think he's going to be a quarterback in the National Football League. All right, I'm going to be breaking down the other undrafted free agents here for the Steelers here in just a second, but first, predict the Steelers' 2023 record for me in the comment section. The Steelers have done a great job at NFL free agency as well as in the NFL draft. They really did a great job bringing in some good pieces. I think that the future is very bright, but let me know, what do you think the Steelers record will be in 2023? Now let's get into Trevor Downing here. He's an interior offensive lineman out of Iowa State. 3-year starter, has spent a season at center, left guard, and right guard. So he has played at every single position along the interior of the offensive line. 6'3", 299 pounds. Our draft analyst, Tom Downey, did not have him ranked. So he's definitely somebody that's going to have to earn his spot on the Steelers roster heading into next year. There's no doubt about that. He does bring some versatility, though, which you like. So if he impresses some people in camp, maybe he can find some way to get onto special teams, or maybe even as a depth piece along as a backup interior offensive lineman. But not the most talented guy in the world. I really don't expect him to be on the Steelers' final 53-man roster. And guess what, guys? Joey Porter Jr. was drafted in the second round of the 2023 NFL Draft. He is coming home, and you can get your very own Joey Porter Jr. jersey on the Chat Sports website right now. You got to go to chatsports.com/Joey Porter Jr. It's a so we don't know the number yet for Joey Porter Jr., so you're going to have to buy it, and then once we know the number, then they'll ship your jersey out to you. So that's the way it kind of works. I'm guessing he's going to take number 9 from Chris Boswell, but I guess we will see. Go to chatsports.com/Joey Porter Jr. To get your Joey Porter jersey. 55 maybe. I mean, it would be pretty cool if he got number 55. I think that's a little weird for a cornerback, but I guess we'll see what he gets here. So whenever that number comes out, you can go ahead and get your jersey here, chatsports.com/Joey Porter Jr. to get your Joey Porter jersey today. All right, so now let's talk about David Perales, edge rusher out of Fresno State. Now, this is maybe my favorite pickup. Or I think that he has maybe the best chance of making the Steelers roster. This guy had 11.5 sacks for Fresno State last year. Now, he played against lower-level competition there with the Bulldogs, but Fresno State's a pretty successful organization within their conference. He's 6'2", 248 pounds, so he's going to be playing outside linebacker for you. But 11.5 sacks, man, this guy knows how to work in the passing game. He's going to be somebody that's going to compete with Nick Herbig to kind of be like a backup edge rusher for the Steelers moving forward. This is somebody that I think could have success for the Steelers moving forward. And I just think that when you bring in guys that have had the kind of production that Perales has had, I think that's a good thing. Can't wait to see how he turns out with the black and gold. And then the Steelers get a kicker. I really like this move because this is where you get your kickers, right? I think some teams that pick up a kicker in the draft, I think that's just kind of a waste of a draft pick. This undrafted free agency is really the place to go. Tom Downey had B.T. Potter is the number 5 kicker overall in this draft class. He is a 4-year starter at the University of Clemson. He has made 9 field goals from over 50 yards or further, so this guy's got a pretty darn good leg. And Chris Boswell is getting a bit older. He didn't have his best season last year. You're bringing in Potter as competition for Boswell. Hopefully Potter can do a good job, and then may the best man win. Hopefully the Steelers have a good kicker for them in 2023. So if you think the Pittsburgh Steelers won the NFL draft this year, if you agree with me on that front, go ahead and like this video. Click that thumbs up icon right now. It's a free and easy way to help out the channel, guys. It really does help us push these videos out to new Yinzers, new Steelers fans that love the Steelers, and I really do appreciate everybody that likes these videos. All right, and now we've got James Nyamwaya, defensive lineman out of Merrimack College, FCS school. And, this guy, I don't really know much about him. Apparently, he is a good run stopper at his level. He's obviously playing at a lower level of college football. He had a 3-sack game against Long Island last year, so he's going to be playing 5 technique. He played defensive end there at Merrimack College, 6'4", 294 pounds, so he's kind of a bigger defensive end prospect. He's probably going to be trying out for a backup 5 technique spot to play behind Larry Ogunjobi, but I would say that this guy is probably one of those players that might not make the roster. Then you go into kind of special team specialist here in Jordan Byrd. He's played running back, he's played wide receiver, but his big thing is that he is a special teams kickoff return and punt return specialist. If he makes the team this year for the Pittsburgh Steelers, it's going to be as a kick or punt returner. He's got some shifty moves. He's a pretty fast guy. It's going to be interesting to see how he competes. Maybe Calvin Austin III can can win that job. I really don't know how that kick return, punt return situation is going to work out because Steven Sims is out of the building. Of course, you still have Gunnar Olszewski. It'll be interesting to see who wins that position in camp in a couple of months. And then maybe my favorite, just in terms of vibes here, Monte Pottebaum. Fullback out of Iowa. I mean, just look at that mullet. This guy was born to be a Pittsburgh Steeler. He was a Steelers fan growing up. He went to the University of Iowa. He won the award for hustle and teamwork at the University of Iowa. He was voted on by his coaches and his teammates. And this guy is apparently a great locker room guy. I think that if the Steelers were on Hard Knocks, this guy would be an absolute star. I mean, you got the beard there. You got the mullet. They call him Monty the Mullet. And, he's coming in at 6'1", 242 pounds. And, it's looking like Connor Hayward is probably going to be the starting fullback heading into next year. But who knows? Maybe Monty comes in with that golden mullet of his and just absolutely just lights up camp and wins a spot. I mean, I would love to have him as a Pittsburgh Steeler. He's definitely an interesting player. So go ahead and grade the Steelers' undrafted free agency class for 2023 in the comment section. What do you think of these players? Give me an A, a B, a C, a D, or an F. And, for me, my grade is going to be, I'm going to give it like a B+, A-. I mean, you just never really know how these players are going to work out. I like the David Perales pickup. I think he's a good edge rusher. Maybe you get a good special teamer there in Bird. Tanner Morgan is a decent backup quarterback, I guess. So, some nice pieces here. I really like the pieces that the Steelers got in the draft. Omar Khan, the con artist himself, absolutely crushed the 2023 NFL draft. And now the Steelers have brought in these other nice players. So it's going to be interesting to see what the Steelers do here in 2023. Make sure you subscribe to the channel here and turn on your notifications whenever we put out new videos. That's going to be it for today's show, guys. I will see you guys later. Peace.